Welcome back, Geordies. Today's a bit of a strange one because I don't normally do videos on other teams, or other managers even. But the only way I can describe it is, when you go into a pub and you sat there and you have a couple of drinks with your mates, and there's that one guy who's had too many and he comes over and he starts chatting away, talking shit. And you look at him and you're like, yeah, all right, mate. Well, have a good evening. And then you shuffle off to another part of the pub, out of the way, and you turn to your mate and go, what the fuck has that twat been smoking? What the fuck is he talking about? Well, that's Arne Slot, the bald, chubby twat who thinks that Alex Isak injury problems are because of Newcastle and that Liverpool's form is because of Newcastle. Little old Newcastle at that. Let's get into it. So, the chat about Arne Slot. And I don't want to be disrespectful in the same way that Arne Slot is disrespectful. So, I'd like to go through and give an educated display of Arne Slot's career to date, the comments he's made, the reasons I think he's made the comments, and then basically why I think the guy's a twat. So we'll start off with what he said. So Arne Slot came out in his press conference and claimed that Alex Isak had come from a smaller club. And I can understand this comment in the sense that if you think history is what defines a club, then yes, Liverpool have a bigger history. Therefore, they are a bigger club, if that's what's defining the size of a football club. And he mentioned that Alex Isak's injury was due to the lack of preseason training that Alex Isak had because of Newcastle. So we'll get into that bit later. But what I'd like to do is just kind of recap a little bit of Arne Slot. So Arne Slot started his career managing PEC Zwolle. I don't even know the club in Holland. He won a cup. He did very well at this little club. Won a cup. He then took over at AZ Alkmaar. He's moved up, kind of a minor team to mid-team in the Dutch league. And then went on to manage Feyenoord, who, let's say, are a large team in Holland, but obviously not the biggest team across the rest of Europe or across the world. And I thought, do you know what? I want some context of Arne Slot's management, because obviously he's a big club now. So he's a big club manager. He's got that reputation. He's got that ethos. He's that powerful big club manager. He's won a Premier League with Jurgen Klopp's team, but he's won a Premier League. So I wanted to look back through and see the signings or the biggest signing that Arne Slot has made for each of those three teams that he was previously at. So Arne Slot's priciest signing was Jasper Karlsson for his first club, who joined for 2.7 million euros, so roughly around £2 million, and understandably, minor club. And then he moved to AZ Alkmaar, and his next signing was 2.6 million euros, so 2 million quid. Again, middle of the road club, you can understand. But then he's moved up. He's moved up to Feyenoord. Big club in the Dutch league. And his biggest signing was 7 million euros. So, kind of where I'm at is he won a title in Holland with Feyenoord with his 7 million euro signing, about 6 million quid. And Liverpool looked at that and went, do you know what? There's a guy who's got a winning mentality. He can do things He could do things for us. Let's bring him in. So they bring him in, and the first season he signs one player for 10 million quid, Chiesa. So he's got Jurgen Klopp set up, Jurgen Klopp's team. They're playing in Jurgen Klopp's style. And there's a drop-off from other teams in the league. And they floor it. Win the league. Title lift, everything. But during that season, where he won the league, he got to a cup final. And in that cup final, he played a club that was smaller than his in his first chance to win a trophy. Now, he didn't win that trophy. And I think he's held that little chip on his shoulder about Newcastle smashing Liverpool in the cup final and making them look shit. And that's moved along to this summer, where after watching Virgil van Dijk tapping Isak on the shoulder and giving him the, as we all know, you could be a Liverpool player come next year, and Alexander Isak refusing to play for the club. So where I'm at is, all summer, I heard the comments made that Michael Edwards, the chief exec at Liverpool, and Richard Hughes, the sporting director at Liverpool, best in the business they are. Them two guys, they'll get you any deal done. These two guys, they know how to pick top talent. They know how to really craft a move. And they did. They managed to unsettle Alex Isak. They managed to make him sit out of pre-season training. They managed to leave him turning up late to the scheduled training sessions that he was supposed to have on his own, underperforming in those training sessions, and not being ready to start Premier League football when they signed him. So, two great architects of the game there, we'll just say. Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, top of the game. Top level they are. And they've got a top level manager, although he's only signed a £6 million player in his previous roles. So he's not really got the talent of managing top players, but, he's going to do it. And then somewhere along the lines this summer, I think Arne Slot thought he was playing FIFA. And he went, fuck it, I don't need defenders. Who needs defenders? Let's sell our defenders and buy a fuckload of attackers. Because what this team really needs, the team that scored more goals than any other team in the league, is more attackers. So let's get Hugo Ekitike. We'll bring him in. He's fantastic. Newcastle want him. This will stick it to them. This will stick it to them for that cup final. I'll bring in Hugo Ekitike. And somewhere along the line, this silly bald twat thought, do you know what? What's a great backup to a world-class up-and-coming talent? I'll bring in a world-class striker. Let's get Alex Isak for 125 million. He's worth every penny of that. I watched him last season. I watched him banging a goal in the cup final against us. And sure enough, he signed him. And they let Trent go. And they didn't buy a backup centre-back. Thought, no, don't need Mark Gahey. Don't need a defensive midfielder. Don't need fullbacks that can defend. What we're going to do is we're going to get fullbacks that can attack. And then I look at this team and I think, what was wrong with the team last season? There was goals. They were solid at the back. They didn't concede. Winning mentality. Midfield three of Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai. And you look at those two, McAllister and Szoboszlai, and you say, do you know what we need? I know we've got Curtis Jones on the bench. He's quite a creative midfielder. He's quite an attacking, young, creative, progressive midfielder. But what we really need, we need to go out and spend £116 million on Florian Wirtz to offer us more going forward. Because, being the top scoring team last year, we need more goals. That's what we need. Don't worry about that defence. That defence is fucking solid. Now we've got rid of Trent and we've let our youth players go and we're going to sell Kelleher and we'll bring in Kirkes and Frimpong, two really attacking fullbacks that couldn't defend for fucking toffee. And in the summer, while this whole debacle of the Isak story was going on, I sat there and said, this Liverpool team's going to come undone. I said it weeks ago, if you go back through my older videos. This Liverpool team needs to sign a centre-back, 2 full-backs that can actually defend rather than attack, and a DM to make this team solid. Solidify that defence. Defences win your titles, strikers win your games. And they brought in Ekitike, who I think is great. I think this boy is fantastic. I think he's better than Isak, if I'm honest with you. And then basically, what Arne Slot has done is gone, we're going to score more goals than you. And then lost 5 games in a row. And the comments he's made in the media about the games that he's lost, unbelievably, they lost to Man United. I loved watching that game. Never have felt so conflicted in all my life, rooting for Man United to score, just to see that bald twat have to eat his fucking words. He come out after the game and said, well, it's because they didn't start Benjamin Sesko. They started Benjamin Sesko against all the other teams, and they took Benjamin Sesko out against us. A lot of teams tend to do that. They change their lineups when they're playing us. Well, of course they do. You fucking idiot. You won the league last year. A lot of teams don't want to just play the same way they play every week when they come up against the title holders. And I think somewhere along the line, Arne Slot hasn't realised that he's won a league title with Jurgen Klopp's team, but otherwise, he's pretty much a fucking nobody. And he's brought in the wrong fucking players and not realised that he needed a centre-back. He needed to sign Mark Gahey. He needed to go through the league and look at 2 full-backs, a DM and Mark Gahey, rather than go for Isak. And I sit there now and I think 8 games in, Alex Isak, 1 shot on target. Bar his cup game, where he played a team from the Championship and scored a goal, 1 shot on target. You've turned prime Isak into Darwin Núñez 2.0. And as far as the Alex Isak is because Newcastle let him down over the summer, Alex Isak sat at home tossing off rather than doing his fucking job that he's paid for, to come in and train, go through pre-season like a normal fucking player, and when he gets his move, he gets his move. But he didn't. He wanted to force his move. And now, he looks fucking shit. And good. Absolutely fucking brilliant. And I hope he goes through the rest of the season looking shit. And when he signed for Liverpool, and all those Liverpool fans put up the free Isak, let him go. You're holding him back. I turned around and said, and I'll say it again, well done, Liverpool. Congratulations. You've signed 2/3 of a world-class striker. Because in the 3 years he was at Newcastle, for 2 seasons, he had 3 months, 4 months, batches out. He only played 2 seasons worth of games. He missed 39 games while at Newcastle, an entire season's worth of matches in 3 years. So congratulations. And then after these comments, it comes out that Alexander Isak's got a fucking groin strain. And all I can say is, bloody good job, mate. Well done, Arnie. You vetted your signings really well. At least you've got your CEO and your sporting director, the best in the business. They won't fucking make mistakes. And all I can think is, maybe, just maybe, Frimpong, Kirkes and Florian Wirtz, maybe they had their training at Newcastle this summer as well. Because they all look fucking shit as well. And most of all, you've turned prime Mo Salah into the most dog shit player I've ever seen. And I've just seen you get turned over by Brentford tonight. 5 games in a row. You thick bald twat. Seriously. Concentrate less on what you say in your press conferences and more on what you do in your transfer windows and your tactics on the pitch, and you might get some fucking results. So on that note, Geordies, I'll leave it there. But I always feel like there's some karma. When you're disrespectful to managers and you're disrespectful to football clubs, it will come back to bite you in the arse. But if you've liked the content, guys, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you disagree with me, and I'm sure Liverpool fans you will, I'm sure there'll be some comeback. Make sure you hit me up in the comments, because I'm waiting for some fan debate on this one. I'd love to see what you've got to say. 5 defeats in a row. That Premier League winning manager that done it with Klopp's team has just acted like he's playing FIFA and blown 500 million this season. So hit me up in the comments, Liverpool fans. And hopefully, guys, I will see you in the next one.